you crazy about Christmas. If Christmas was living, I'd fuck it to death and then consume its body for its Christmas breath. Cause it's growing and not stopping. And I fucking love Christmas.
Yo, this is the Hobby Shop. I'm Philip. I'm here with Don. And Merry Christmas. This is our Christmas episode of the Hobby Shop. And what better than... What? Fuck. I had it for a second.
You're rolling.
I had it for a second because I had to think of what I was going to say. But anyway, speaking of Christmas, and nothing says Christmas more like mind fucking visuals. I watched Akira on Toonami the other night, Saturday night. I asked you about that, but I forgot that you don't have TV.
Yeah, so how the fuck am I gonna watch it?
I'm sorry. I wish I could have recorded it so you could have saw it. So you've never seen Akira, have you?
No, I have not.
You were aware of it, though,
yes.
Right? Okay. This was the... I don't know what studio did the dub for this version. This is not the old school 1992 dub. You know, the terrible one where basically actors are trying to lengthen out words and to match the mouths. Because the animation is so good that they actually... Like, you can see the syllables, you can see them pronouncing words. Like, they just do a lot of mouth movement. So they're doing stuff like that. This is like, they will talk like this.
It's kind of like when you watch, I'm guessing, like the Gorillas, whenever you watch their stuff. If you actually watch their mouth animation, it's actually have all about the pronunciation.
Yeah. Now, here's the difference between the old dub and the new dub. I call it the Bosch dub. I'm sorry, it's just when I think of Johnny Young Bosch when I think of this, just because he voices not Tetsuo, but he voices Kaneda. I might have mispronounced that. Kameda or something like that.
Okay, for a second I was like
Canada. I didn't mean to say Canada, but Kaneda, something like that. It's a little hard to pronounce some of these names. If you don't know, Johnny Young Bosch is the voice of Vash, or the English voice of Vash. He's also been in Gurren Lagann. He's been in a lot of anime. Usually, if they want like a young hero character, young hero,
very energetic hero.
Yeah, they usually go for Johnny Young Bosch. And again, for those who don't know, he's also most famous for being the Black Power Ranger on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Season 2 to be precise, but yeah, he was the guy who replaced Zack as the Black Ranger. He also, he continued to be in Power Rangers up until In Space, I believe. Unless you count his not cameo, but him popping up in an episode of, I think it's RPM. I don't remember which season it was. I didn't watch the show. I didn't watch the show he popped up in. I just seen that one episode. Apparently him and a bunch of older but kind of newish Rangers pop up. But anyway, so he came off of Power Rangers, and I think Vash, his performance as Vash was like the first thing he did that was like, I think that was the first anime he worked on. I could be wrong.
That's why you Wikipedia that shit and Google it.
No, anyway, Akira. Everybody kind of puts it on this pedestal saying this is one of the greatest anime films of all time, if not the greatest. It is not the greatest. It has problems. And I'm not coming on here just to shit on Akira. It's an amazing film. It's just jaw-dropping in terms of animation and visuals. The problem is it's such a condensed mess that you wind up asking all these questions that will never be answered. And unless you read the manga, there's no way in hell you would be able to figure out all of what's going on in this movie. And imagine what it was back in the 90s, before Wikipedia and all that, before Google. Imagine watching that and not reading the manga, and just knowing the movie. And you would be so confused and lost. Now it's easier because, Wikipedia, I think you can I'm not sure, but I think you can still get the manga.
I'm probably gonna try and watch it and try to see what you're talking about when you say that it's a clusterfuck.
It's not really a clusterfuck. It's just so condensed. They're basically taking like I want to say about 200 issues and cramming it into feature length, and it's just so much shoved into 2 hours. Stuff is going to be left out, and certain questions are going to be raised but never answered. And I don't know if there's problems with translation, because at one point,
there's always lost in translation.
yeah, but there's one point where they pretty much say that Tetsuo's his powers comes from amoebas. That's not exactly the line, but that's basically the gist of it. And I don't know if that was a mistranslation or not, but whatever, besides the point. The one thing this is why I keep coming back to it, is the animation, because it's so good. And this is a problem I've had with a lot of modern anime. Not to shit on modern anime again, but
it's because they've been hitting a pretty huge budget cut, so that's probably why you're seeing a huge difference between the 90s and then now.
Okay.
There's been budgets.
I was about to ask, what is the typical budget for weekly anime? Or however
I
they do
googled
it.
that. Apparently, an episode will cost you about 100,000.
Jeez.
That is, I am not shitting you. I looked it up. I didn't double check it, so I might be wrong, but it sounds kind of right, because if you think about all the people you have to hire, your voice actors, your anime studio, I'm trying to think what else you would really...
But basically all the expenses,
Yeah.
it's just things are going to get cut here and there. Okay, I was just wondering that, because one of my questions is, how come an anime film, granted it's a film, how can Akira look so good and so detailed, but new anime is still stilted and jerky looking?
It's depending on your studios. There's been a lot of studios that's gone out of business now.
Okay.
I don't remember which ones. Again, I would have to relook that up. But I know they just have a huge budget.
So
cut.
basically the industry is kind of in a low point when it
Yeah.
comes to funds.
It seems to be kind of fluctuating, because I always hear people like, oh, the anime community is suffering because of pirating. It's losing a lot of money. And then I look on Netflix and I see if you see what's unpopular on Netflix, there's quite a bit of animes. So I see this fluctuation of, it seems to be this weird form. I don't know if they're getting a lot of budget from Netflix or from Crunchyroll, from the sites that actually support it.
Yeah.
But apparently they're losing a lot of money due to pirating. So that's where the budget's having the issues, and that's why you're seeing a lot of studios go bankrupt and just collapse. And the reason why you're seeing studios go from, I wouldn't say studio, why you see different animations, some stilted and some not, is because it just depends on the budget it has. So I'm pretty sure Akira probably had a big budget.
Now I think now just thinking about newer anime and budgets, it appears that like stuff like Attack on Titan has a pretty good budget, because the action scenes are fantastically animated. There are like still shots and stuff like that, and that in anime, I poke fun of it, but in anime you can make a drinking game over how many still images you'll see, where there's just no animation.
As doing animation, I can understand that. You want to say you're like, if you had a long time with animation, you're just like, fuck, I just want a little tiny break. Because, all that action animation that people take for granted, that takes hours.
Yeah, that
takes
does.
fucking hours.
That
That
does.
takes team. So every time I see still animation, I'm just kind of like, well, that's kind of their only time to take a break.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about just a still shot, just a picture. And I notice a lot of anime does that. Especially, and keep in mind, the anime I grew up with did it all the time. I just think it's a funny thing to kind of poke fun at. But back to Akira, it's basically, for a lot of people, it's that must watch. Like a lot of people I've heard say, "Oh, you gotta, if you love anime, if you even narratively, the movie makes very little sense." but just it's a milestone in anime history. It's one of those things that I think everybody has to see at least once. And by the way, there's tons of dubs of this movie. They're not just the two. There's a good. I'm thinking of like 4 off the top of my head.
Damn, that's a lot for a movie.
Well, keep in mind, look at like Dragon Ball. There's like 6 different dubs of it. But that kind of leads me to my next point. I'll get to that in a sec. I just want to finish my thoughts on Akira. Akira, far from a masterpiece. I don't want to say anything about the dialogue because, again, a lot of the dialogue issues with the original dub have been long fixed. In fact, it's not Akira. Apparently, it's Akira or Akira. Or some pronunciation of that. I think it's the version I watched called Akira Akira. That's how they pronounced it. And I don't know. I really do not know, but I'm leaning to thinking that is the correct way to pronounce it, not Akira. But I'll always call the film Akira because that's what I'm used to. This dub that I watched with Johnny Young Bosch is actually pretty solid. But the problems with the movie is it's just trying to squeeze in so much into one film. I feel like if you did a trilogy of films, then I think the flowing issues it has probably would be fixed. But come on, this we're talking anime in, I want to say 86, 87. That was kind of an unheard of thing at the time. So I think it still is. But
I don't think I've really seen animes really do trilogies.
Yeah.
Where I think it definitely could be something that could be done.
Now, do you think they should make a series on Akira?
I think it would probably smooth out a lot more instead of a movie. It seemed like they just wanted to do a movie as a big, try to make it really epic, I guess.
Yeah.
Usually that's what you see as a movie.
And see, they were given the ability to do a lot of things they wanted to do because they had a healthy budget. And I don't think, like the state of anime right now, I don't think it would get that budget that it could.
Well,
use.
I mean, if you also watch from animes and movies, the anime movies from the series, you can see where more of the budget is thrown at compared to the budget that's on the show.
Yeah.
So usually, the show's gonna be a lot more dumbed down because each of the episodes, like I said, that's $100,000.
Yeah.
So to speak. And even if it's not, it's around there.
I'm just thinking that I think that should be, instead of rebooting Evangelion for the billionth time, how about do a series based on Akira? If one exists, I apologize, but to my knowledge, there is not a series based on Akira. I think that would have been interesting to see. But anyway, this leads into a question that we received. The question basically is sub or dub. Do you prefer sub or dub?
This is where it comes to the conclusion of what anime would I rather prefer to watch it, like this to rather this. For my two favorites, dub or Trigun and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, because those just it fits the setting a lot better. Me is dub because and here's the thing, I got nothing against it being subbed. I have nothing against having to read it or anything like that. The problem with reading it is that you're so focused on the bottom of the screen, you're not going to notice a whole lot of stuff that's going on. And half time you're not actually watching the film, you're reading it. And that just kind of takes me out of the experience. Yes, there's going to be things that are lost in translation, but to somebody who is not very knowledgeable of Japanese culture, I don't think I'd be missing a whole lot. I would still be missing things because I don't understand Japanese culture. And that's a problem. That more becomes a problem in shows and movies that are deeply rooted in Japanese culture. Anything from I can't remember his name, and I was just thinking about it. I can't remember his name, but he made he did Paranoia Agent. He's a big name in anime.
I know who you're talking about, but again, I'm terrible with names.
Okay, well, anyway,
I think I haven't really heard Paranoia Agent in sub, so that's another one. That's one thing I actually want to kind of do is I do want to compare and contrast the two to see
Yeah.
which is, but I think I probably have a bias towards the dub because that's what I first saw it as, and it fit
Yeah.
really well for a dub.
With the dub though, to me, it's more easy to get. It's easier to understand what's going on than having to read it. Now, some people, I'll give them credit. They can still get what's going on by reading it. More to them. But me personally, it's harder for me to get engaged in a film or a show if I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, and one of the things that I would have to watch subbed and always just watch it in sub would be Steins Gate, just because of the main character's. He does this little English part where he's talking to this African American salesperson, if I'm recalling that right. And fuck, I forgot what was the line. He goes up to him, he's like, "Are you mad scientist? It's so cool, son of a bitch."
Okay.
And he has such a good English accent.
Oh God! When you said that, the son of bitch part, the son of bitch, that reminded me of an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. The alien that has to speak for everybody else, and the alien spoke Japanese or something.
Yeah, but like when it's stuff like that, or with Fate Zero, also is another one that I have to watch sub. It's really partakes on, again, it's a bias sometimes where I see it.
So, for us, you're willing to give sub a shot. I am. It's just, but more out of 10, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to watch the dub over the sub, just because I rather. I don't want to have to be constantly reading the bottom of the screen, and sometimes go by so fast, and I usually can't keep up. So, and one person told me, "Why don't you just pause?"
That kind of kills them because you're just like, ugh.
You have to keep pausing
Play.
it. And,
Next line, ugh. Play. Okay,
Yeah.
how about you do it yourself? You pause the video, read the little segment, then press play.
it's just
Next one pops up. Pause the segment, read it, play. You're killing it.
it just completely brings you out of the film or whatever you're watching. Well, moving on from that, just fun about Akira. It's not the greatest of all time. It's not even top 10, but it is a masterpiece of animation.
There was another anime that Robert told me about. It was like some racing thing, and it had a huge this is kind of, I know it's kind of recent, not too recent, but it also was one of those things where it's beautifully animated, where it's just basically animated porn.
Yeah.
But the story itself was lackluster.
Now here's something. 20 years of goddamn PlayStation. We might have talked about this before, but I just wanted to say this again. I just want to say something about it now. Sony released a new variant on the PlayStation 4, and it just makes it look like the old PlayStation. It's gray and all that.
Okay. The colors. I thought you said it had the graphical. I was like, well,
No.
I can play new games as PlayStation? That'd be kind of interesting.
But yeah, they have a new variant of the PlayStation 4. Now here's the funny thing: they were going for $20,000 on eBay. $20,000
for this version?
For this version. Now here's the funny thing: somebody on eBay fucked up, and I accidentally sold one for $1. So somebody got a PlayStation 4 for $1. I just thought this was a funny little story.
I always hate hearing that because I'm just like, why couldn't I be that lucky? Fuck.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be someone else? Why can't I be that one-time lucky fuck, one lucky thing in my life? That lucky.
You're never the one. Also, I just want to say this. Did you ever play the old PlayStation?
Not that much. It was really just the PS2.
I used to go to my friend's house to play games like Medieval and Spyro the Dragon, stuff like that. Star Wars Pod Racing, but I'll forgive him for that one. What? Phantom Menace just came out and it was the shit when I was 9. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to throw that thing in there. But just thinking about it, god damn, 20 years. 20 years of PlayStation. And to me, a lot of people still count the PlayStation as a new console. Not new, but they don't really... It doesn't really get thrown into that classic category. Because you think classic video games, what do you think of? You think of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
Not for me. It's like the N64.
That's
what I grew up with, sir. That's my nostalgic game. That's my classics.
okay.
I don't play the I told you this. I was born in the Polygon era.
You're a millennium.
Yeah.
Millennium. You grew up we both grew up in that era.
Yeah.
But
I thought you were more Pixel because you played more of the.
Well, I did, but keep in mind, you're how old?
21.
21? I'm fixing to be 25, so I'm not that much older than you. But yeah, I kind of grew up at the tail end of the Pixel era, but I remember the Polygon era a lot more. But I did play the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. I was playing Sega Genesis when everybody was drooling at the bit for the Dreamcast. But anyway, yeah, just to think about that, the PlayStation is now 20 years old. Just thinking about that, it's just weird to me. Think about it. Think about when we might be thinking the same thing 20 years of the Xbox. That would be weird for me.
We'll get there.
I mean, it's already over 10 years old. The original Xbox. Which, this is going to be confusing for so many people, like 20 years from now. Xbox 360, Xbox One. I still don't like that name. And I'm not shitting on the console. I'm just saying, that's such a stupid name.
Well, I mean, they did it because it's a full circle. Because get it, 360, half, one, it's a full circle now.
Well...
We're going full circle.
Now, why? So, what? That's it for Xbox? We're not going to have another one?
No, I'm pretty sure we will.
Yeah, we will. But granted, what was the name everybody was thinking it was going to be? Like the 480 or something?
I remember hearing that, but I thought that was just like another console for the 360 that was just a better 360.
No, that everybody thought that's what the third console was going to be called. Just because, 360, 480, why not? It still would have been a stupid name. Why can't we just go Xbox, Xbox 2, Xbox 3? Simple, but...
Because we're different.
Yeah, they're trying to be different.
Look what Nintendo's doing. We got the Wii and the Wii U.
The Wii U.
That doesn't sound dumb at all.
That just sounds stupid. I think really for me personally, I think the last solid console Nintendo made was the N64. I didn't play the GameCube. So
the GameCube's got some memories for me. I think that's my solid for Nintendo.
I'm just saying because I didn't play the GameCube a whole lot. I played it here and there, but I didn't really grow up with it. So I don't have any real attachment to it. I have more attachment to the N64. Even though PlayStation was clearly better. Now I'm going to get like hate mail from angry Nintendo fanboys. Anyway, so going from there, speaking of Sony, a new animated Super Mario Brothers movie. I don't know when it's set for release. I'm assuming 2016. But an animated Super Mario Brothers movie.
The fuck is it gonna be about?
I don't know. What was the last movie about?
The last movie wasn't even a Super Mario movie.
And by the way, we trashed that movie before, but that movie is one of those hilariously bad movies. But this one, obviously, it's going to be computer animated because there's no way in hell it's going to be traditional animation. For a video game movie, that works. I don't mind that with a video game movie. And it'd be the first time
But I'm trying to think, is Mario gonna talk?
I don't know.
Think of all the fans that get pissed.
Could they? Well, if it's talk, could they get the actual voice of Mario to talk? Because because what does he do? He just says Yahoo!
Or just, it's me, Mario.
And that's about all he says. They're probably going to get celebrity to play him. But I don't know. I would love to see kind of a kind of silent comedy route.
That would be actually kind of interesting. See, like I guess kind of like the Three Stooges kind of thing, or
You're thinking
Or-
generation before. You're thinking
Okay.
of Charlie Chaplin.
there we go, Charlie Chaplin. Yes.
Not that far. I mean, but you'll still hear the yahoos and the stuff like that. I don't know who makes that noise.
Yoshi.
But, that's Yoshi. What Donkey Kong always said? He
I
always
don't
said
know. He just
you
made
never-
grunty noises,
you never-
and he did have a voice because he did have a series.
something like that. The still sounded like Yoshi.
No, he had a voice.
That's it. Something like that.
Which was kind of weird because in Mario Kart and stuff, he just makes grunty noises and sounds.
Yeah.
And he's like, he had a voice.
Oh, God, that fucking curtain. You brought that up, and now I'm just thinking of how shitty that looked. God, you remember that thing, right?
Yes.
It just looked so shitty. For the time, it looked shitty. I thought Reboot looked bad. God, that was demented looking. I'm just saying. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck it's gonna be
I
about.
hope they go the 7 stars route.
Do what?
Or was it the 7 stars? The Super Mario RPG. No, there we go. Super Mario RPG. Or if they do like a Paper Mario route, that would be pretty interesting.
I think this is gonna be. You know what they should do? You didn't read Nintendo Power. I think that was a little before.
Oh, the comic.
Yeah, the comic. Why can't they can kind of lift some of the stuff from the comic?
That actually would be really good.
Yeah. The comic was. I didn't read a whole lot of it, but I did read like 2 issues out of it, and it was really good.
I read the Star Fox one, and I was disappointed.
You were disappointed by that?
I was so hella disappointed with that.
Keep in mind, those comics in Nintendo Power were just commercials for the. They were just advertisements for the games. But for being one of those, the Super Mario one was actually really good.
There was another one, wasn't there?
Legend of Zelda.
Okay, I didn't read that.
You had there was the mascot of Nintendo Power. I can't remember his name. I'm sure a lot of old school Nintendo players know who I'm talking about. But he only had one game, by the way, and it was some bowling game on the fucking what was it? Virtual Boy. But I want to say NES, something like
Not
that.
NES. It's not NES.
Something I don't remember. But I don't know. It could be fun, and I'm interested to see what they do with it. This is Sony, by the way. Keep that in mind. Sony Entertainment is adapting a Nintendo, a movie based on a Nintendo game. But keep in mind, Sony Pictures and Sony, whatever branch of Sony makes the PlayStation. Those are 2 different branches of a company. So
You better watch out. North Korea might hack it.
which leads me to. Did you look at my phone?
No.
Okay. Which leads me to our next topic. The interview being canceled because North Korea threatened to, blow up theaters in America.
That was their threat?
That was their threat.
That was literally their threat.
Basically, I don't think they said they're going to nuke us, but basically they'll take it as an act of war if any theater shows the interview. Yeah, They were that fucked up.
I'm lost for words. That. So a movie can actually end up declaring war.
Yeah.
Do you know how dumb that sounds in itself?
We're talking about North Korea, though.
Yeah, I know. It's just, God. It's just.
It's mind blowing. It's kind of terrifying, to be frank, that they could just be offended like that. It's like, instead of being like, hey, we don't appreciate this movie painting us in a dark light. We don't approve of this. Please do not release this movie. No, it's full on fucking war. It just, yeah.
I mean, I already saw like clips of it, and I was like, it's not even that. It's a mediocre comedy movie.
I actually was looking forward to it. I really thought it would have been a funny movie.
I mean, they didn't get offended by Team America.
They take pop shots at North Korea. I don't.
That was Kim Jong-un. That was the main villain, wasn't it?
I gotta go watch that movie again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that was the main enemy, was Kim Jong-un.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't aware of that. I don't know. But there's not a whole lot to say. It's just fucked up. That's pretty much all we got.
It's fucked up and stupid. But I mean, if war does happen, I think this is the first time people would look back and just go,
what the fuck? Really?
2000 was a fucked up year.
2014 was a terrible year.
War happened because of a movie.
Yeah,
Just God, I say, show it, whatever.
I don't really. The thing is, if they're serious about that, and if they're really fucking serious about that, and I don't blame theaters not showing it, because it's like people can actually die because somebody gets offended. That is terrifying to me, and that's borderline terrorism.
Well, man, it is what it is. It is an act of terrorism. It's saying, hey, you can't show this because I'm offended.
But it's a form of terrorism just because they are literally threatening to bomb us because of a movie.
I mean, I can see where there's two spectrums. There's the, don't be afraid of terrorism and stuff, and there's another part of me that's like, it would kind of suck to die because of a movie.
Yeah.
And it would suck to go to war because of a movie.
Over a fucking movie, yeah.
There's just two sides of the coin where I'm just like, I don't want to be a bitch, but at the same time, like...
It's just, we don't want to roll over, because, like it or not, America is the world's punching bag. But we don't want to roll over, but there's nothing we can do. Nobody wants a war to break out over a fucking movie. Alright, that's pretty much all we got for that. That's by the way, that is about as much politics as you're going to get out of us.
Yeah.
Alright, my phone went to sleep, so give me a sec. Next one. Okay, this I thought was funny. Have you ever played Tekken?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the latest game you've played?
Tekken 6.
Tekken 6? Okay, so last one I played was Tekken 5. But, okay. Did you hear about this whole thing with the character Lucky Chloe? It's a new character.
Oh, wait, is that the cat chick?
Yeah, here's the image.
Lolicon crap?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are just like, what?
People are fucking pissed over this.
It's just a Dead or Alive character being put into...
Oh, really? She's from Dead or Alive?
No, I'm just saying it's basically the format. That's all I really kind of see.
Well, it's just, I don't know, the cat ears and all that. I can see how people would hate this, but they're talking about how it, ruins the image of Tekken. A game
there's Bob, a fat fuck. Then we have the Lolicon robot. Seriously?
Lolicon robot?
Yeah, Tekken 6. It was just really fucking... And she was broken too. Fuck that fucking character.
Oh god, is it the character from the movie?
No.
From that CG movie?
No. I never seen the movie.
Was she a cyborg?
Yeah,
or something?
cyborg made pink hair.
Yes, it is the character from the fucking movie.
Yeah.
God. This is also a franchise that has fighting bears, fighting pandas,
There's nothing wrong with
A
fighting
woodman.
bears. There's
A wood-
nothing wrong with fighting
a
bears.
sentient woodman.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine.
We have fucking demons and shit. Really? This is what ruins the franchise? This is what is like the disgrace to the great franchise of Tekken. I mean, I love Tekken, but I don't take it seriously. This is the same game where an ending just as you have Heihachi and a Speedo. Yeah, that's an ending to a. I think that's the ending to what was his illegitimate not Heihachi's son, but his like son-in-law or
I don't know.
he has kind of like pinkish hair and he basically kind of reminds me of James from Pokemon.
Okay, I don't know who you're talking about, but
He's
kind of
okay. Did you ever play Tekken 4?
no. Only played. The only Tekken I actually got into was 6 and Tag.
Okay, well, I'm trying to remember his name. He was like a businessman and all that. He wore like a suit and tie and all that. He has like a hatred for Kazama.
Another hard name to pronounce.
Cause I think his name's Kazama. Not Jin, but his father Kazama. I think his name's Kazama, or maybe it's no, it's the same name as the guy from Scride, Kazuma. I think his name's Kazuma. I don't know where I was getting that other name, but yeah, Kazuma. Anyway, the character has this deep hatred for Kazuma because of him being Heihachi's real son or something like that. And keep in mind, this is also the same franchise where a father, to make a man out of his son, throws him off a cliff. Let's be perfectly honest, and I'm going to say this again. Tekken is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's stupid. It's been stupid from day one. And the fact that people are pissed over this is just, it seems like just such a little thing to get mad at. And I think she's only available in like the Japanese version. And did you hear about the tweets that I think it was a producer of the game or somebody from the, I think it was a developer.
Mm-hmm.
He left tweets because all the angry Tekken fanboys took to Twitter. Of course, that's what people do nowadays. They get to Twitter, and I think one of the developers, I think it was a developer, I could be wrong. He basically said, "Well, how about I make I think he said, how about I make some skinhead neo-Nazi character that's ripped to shit, or something like that. So you won't even see this character, but you'll get your character." He's being such a dick. I love it just because, yeah, people overreacted and people are being stupid about it. So he tells them to fuck off. Don't worry about it. Don't cry. But
It's not a big deal.
I mean, he's saying it's not a big deal. That's basically what he's saying. He's telling them basically to fuck off. Then I think whoever makes Tekken, I can't remember who makes it. A representative from there is just saying, no, we're just trolling, like trying to cool things down. And it's just like people are being stupid. The guy responded to it and just basically called them out on being idiots. So I approve of that because when you get angry fanboys, they'll say some stupid shit. I mean, they might even send them like threats and stuff.
Oh, that's bound to happen. Those are usually it's funny, the threats you get are actually from 10-year-olds.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently this comes under the concept of 10-year-old minds that it's okay to threaten someone you don't have an agreement with.
I mean, there was that one girl on YouTube who actually found out that a lot of people who were threatening to rape her were like 10-year-olds, and she told their parents. So yeah, most of the time it seems to be snot-nosed kids who don't know better.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from that, I just thought it was funny how the Tekken fanboys went nuts over this. It's just doesn't every fighting game kind of have a cutesy character except for like Mortal Kombat?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of Felicia from Deathstock.
I was just trying to think of some characters from Street Fighter.
Oh yeah,
Chun Li.
She's not cutesy, but she still does the peace sign and all that. But you have some other characters. I haven't paid attention to Street Fighter in a long time, but you have like a schoolgirl and stuff like that. So in a lot of fighting games, you've had cutesy characters, except for maybe I don't know. Soul Calibur had, I think, one. I haven't played Soul Calibur in a long time.
I think so too.
Anyway, moving on. Have you? Do you know what a barcade is?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's a bar and arcade.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Apparently, Namco is making a Pac-Man themed arcade. And
I can just see a bunch of angry adults getting angry, drinking, getting drunk, getting more angry, kicking it, yelling, and then you're gonna end up having a broke monitor.
Yeah, that could happen. I think the barcade's a cool idea. Yeah, you get a beer and play some video games. Apparently, it's not going to be just Pac-Man. There's going to be other games, but it's be new arcade games, old school arcade games, pinball, board games and stuff like that. A lot of cool shit that I'm kind of happy to see that arcades are not completely dead.
Oh, they're big in Japan, actually.
Yeah.
They're not big here, though.
They have those arcade cafes, they got these cafes where you can play games. It's like internet cafe or something like that, and I don't know. I know these are the thing. I'm just right now. I'm thinking of that guy in a internet cafe who got his ass kicked because because he got mad because somebody beat him in a game. So he went over to like fight the guy, and the guy just whoops his ass. That's what I'm thinking of when I'm trying to think of internet cafes. But yeah. Anyway, the barcade. I think it's a cool concept. I've heard of them. I've never been to one, probably because of I don't. Okay, not bartender. Bouncer sees me, and I don't exactly have the most mature features. So
You're a baby face motherfucker.
Yeah. I have a baby face, so he's probably going to think, what's this 16-year-old trying to do? Yeah, a lot of people, even with like the goatee and all that, they still think, barely a goatee, but people seem to think I'm 16 or 17. So I don't have an ID. I need to get one, but I've never been in one anyway. I don't drink, so it's not like I've been to a lot of bars. But just this concept is cool. Get a drink. I'm sure they sell food too, and playing some Pac-Man. I think that's a pretty cool concept. Now, I want to kind of talk about this because this is something that is kind of becoming a sticking point with a lot of internet reviewers. Fans feeling entitled. Fans feeling that these internet it's not just exclusive to internet reviewers.
Wait, I think I might know what you're talking about, but continue.
Where the fans are basically saying crap like, we bought your house, that kind of shit, because they donate money and stuff like that. And they feel like they're entitled to reviews, they're entitled to videos and content and all that. And this spurred me after watching one of Spoonie's videos. Spoonie's been doing a lot of wrestling videos lately because he has the WWE Network. He's able to watch these shows basically free. He's been basically shitting on them except for one show. But people are getting upset because he's making wrestling videos and not video game and movie videos like he used to. The thing though is, he's still making videos. It's not like this is the only thing he's making. It just seems like because he's been doing it for a couple months. And people are just basically, I paid money for reviews. I paid money for you to bitch and cry about movies.
I think when someone has that kind of audacity, I wouldn't want him as a fan. That's like a controlling psycho freak. That's like, I gave you money, not because of goodwill in my heart, because I want you to do what I want you to do.
Yeah, they
It's
want
like-
to see more content, and it just seems so. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way to hear people saying that you feel entitled to these reviews. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's just
Like guys like Spoonie, and I don't know if Spoonie does it as a career. I don't think he does. I don't know. He might, but he's doing these videos. He like the wrestling videos. He's doing it because he loves wrestling and he loves talking about it. He loves making reviews. He does it as a hobby. So I don't get this idea that people, just because they donate money, that means they're entitled to content. Now, if he just stopped doing content, period, and still was accepting donations and stuff like that, that would be a problem. But he's still making videos. It's been a while since he's done Counter Monkey. It's been a while since he's done this and that. The same thing was happening to Angry Joe, where Angry Joe was doing vlogs and people were fucking pissed because he hasn't done it. He didn't do a real review in like I think 2 months. No, it was 2 weeks.
God, can someone not take a break? Apparently,
No, it was like 3 or 4. It was like 3 or 2. It was 2 or 3 weeks. He just went a few weeks without doing a review.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It was in the middle of October, the worst year for buying video games. Here's the thing. He doesn't rent games. He buys them, plays them, and then reviews them. Keep in mind that this is about... I think he can crank... If he's really working on it and only focusing on that, I think he'd crank one out once a week. But he's also doing other things. He's not just doing this one. He's not just doing
I mean, you have
reviews.
life outside the show, and apparently people don't understand that.
And
don't
they
grasp
feel
that
like
concept.
they are owed a review or they're owed something. And I don't know how many other people has been getting this shit. I doubt it's only reviewers. I'm pretty sure it's anybody who puts content out on the internet. It's just I don't know. But one of my things is don't donate. If you're having a problem with like this reviewer, one of my things is I'll admit this. I hate this comment saying you don't like it, don't watch. But it's getting to that point to where I'm almost wanting to say that, because if you're having this much of an issue with this guy, stop watching his videos. Don't donate money. I don't look. There's a lot of shows I like. I don't donate money because one, I don't have the money to donate. Two, there's really all it is I support this show and I want to see the show succeed. I'm going to donate $20. I get the concept of donating and all that, but if you're having such a problem with it, don't donate.
I mean, it's a simple problem with a simple solution. And it's another thing that you just shouldn't make a big deal about, because that's really just uncalled for.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's this big of a deal, because Spoonie has not said anything about it. But it's just something I've noticed in the comments. And keep in mind, this is YouTube. There's a lot of idiots on YouTube. But even people on his own website are complaining. But they're also complaining about the format of the website. And I went on his website. There's not a damn thing wrong with his website.
I think it just comes under the part of people complaining to complain.
Yeah. So, even though I've really started to wane, I'm really starting to not be into Spoonie as I used to be. I still think some of these people, these fans, and you guys can't see, but I'm doing quotations when I say that. When it comes to these people, it's just either don't donate or just shut up and be patient. Now, I can understand that. If you're really into something and you're just waiting for that next episode, like me with the Nostalgia Critic,
I think people's patience levels have been decreasing more and more.
it's because of instant satisfaction. Being able to just type in something, and people have no patience anymore. And keep in mind, we say that, but we're a part of that of this generation of people who are being lazy and impatient. We're part of that generation, but it's just people. I pretty much said it. People have no patience anymore. Unless it comes now, they're going to complain. But here's one of the things that I think is something everybody has to have on YouTube: thick skin. They can't let complaining get to them. And most people...
I think that actually really sucks. Because, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people that would really love to make videos and stuff, but aren't thick skinned. I mean, come on, everyone's made differently.
Yeah.
And I think that just really sucks when you scroll down and you see a fuck ton of hate comment. And, most of the time that's what usually just kills their video.
Well, with Spoonie, though, that's kind of what started his career as an internet personality. Because he didn't really take off until he reviewed Final Fantasy VIII. When he tackled that horse, when he started to go after Final Fantasy VIII, which is a terrible game. I agree with him on that. I don't like Final Fantasy, but I did play that game. And it's fucking garbage.
I've heard it was not that good.
Basically, people are like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And they basically go to their friends like, hey, come see what this asshole's saying. People get angry, but they would, get their friends to watch it.
I see what you're talking about. But speaking of this, I was watching a guy point out the flaws for The Walking Dead for season 1, and a lot of it I was kind of mixed feeling, to where I was agreeing and disagreeing at some parts. But
I feel like I'd be that way.
But I scrolled down at the comment. It was a fucking shitstorm. I thought Telltale's community would be better than this. Although I should have learned.
Okay, we're talking the game.
Yeah, he was reviewing the game. I scrolled down because I was like, I wonder how bad the comments are. Because the like to dislike, it had like 10k dislikes and 15, I think like 15,000 likes. So it was a very controversial video.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on YouTube though have gotten to the point to where they know to ignore people. I'm talking about the people who've been there since like day one. I'm talking, well, not really day one, but I'm talking about the guys who've been there for years, like Pat the NAS Punk, James Roth, even though he kind of went off to his own site. But Mega 64 still around?
Yeah.
Okay. But, they've bound to have gotten hate mail upon hate mail.
Oh, yeah. I looked down on Mega 64 and I've seen people be like, oh, man, these people are stupid. If someone did that to me, I'd punch him in the face. I'm like, what the fuck?
I give Chris Boris credit, and I'm not a fan. I do not care for the irate gamer, just because I don't find him funny. I think he's kind of mediocre. It has nothing to do with him being like a rip-off of James Rolfe or anything like that, even though he did kind of rip him off at some points. But I don't hate him for that. I don't hate the guy.
Hate's a strong word. You shouldn't throw it around very easily.
I don't hate him. I'm not interested in his videos. I just don't find him funny. He's a great editor. He's great when it comes to like green screen effects and stuff like that. You gotta give him credit for dealing with all the hate for years. I mean, he was like that one name you don't mention. Like it's like irate gamer. People be like, you do not say his name. People were fucking pissed over this guy. They did not like to hear his name at all.
People put a lot of energy into hate. It'd be better if they put that energy into something more productive.
Yeah. But it's just the internet. We already know it's a shitstorm. People can't handle opinions. People can't handle change, and they get very impatient when videos stop coming. I'm pretty sure guys like Linkara have gone through this. I don't think Doug ever really went through this because
I'm pretty sure that people are like, I'm gonna unsubscribe from you because you're not uploading fast enough, and you're not the same. You're not the angry critic like I got up with. You need to be more angrier. I'm fucking spending time watching your goddamn show, so do what I want.
I bought your house.
Yeah.
That stupid shit. Yeah. Although I don't know. Maybe people didn't. I don't remember what the reaction to Doug leaving, stop not doing reviews anymore, doing demo reel, I'm sure there was people who were complaining about it. I didn't watch demo reel. I just had no interest in it. And to that point of people changing and not being, a lot of people do not like the new Nostalgia Critic, and honestly, I think his videos are more entertaining now. It's just because he actually has characters to bounce off of and stuff like that. I'm not going to pretend he's like some great writer, but he has some really good episodes. I really liked his last, I think it was his last video, where he did A Christmas Story 2. He just makes so many like likable characters and stuff like that, and Hyper Fangirl's starting to become one of my favorite characters, and I think that's probably going to be that woman's like main. That's probably going to be one of her most memorable characters. I apologize, I can't remember her name, but you know who I'm talking about, right?
His two assistants.
Yeah, I can't even remember the.
I don't remember their names either. I'm just like, okay,
Malcolm.
assistants 1 and assistants 2.
I think the other one's. I think the dude is Malcolm. I think is his name. I would have to hear it. I would have to hear it again, but yeah, I'm pretty sure people bitched when he changed the show up. I thought it was a breath of fresh air because I was starting to get sick of the Nostalgia Critic. I was starting to get sick of the screaming and all that. And I like that he's doing editorials where he's actually talking about stuff he likes, or he's actually talking about more than just shitty movies. And it's something
I think it's pretty good to branch off. I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
It's okay.
But yeah, when you kind of do the one thing over and over and over again, it gets stale, it gets stagnant. And for people who actually branch out and try something new, I think that's kudos. I think that's actually really cool to, branch out into other stuff. But as you can see, apparently fans condone progression.
You mean they don't condone?
No.
People just don't like change. That just people in general don't like change. No, there's some critics, some of these reviewers, who I kind of wish would do something else. When Gara, I'm starting to get to that point where I'm just, if I know it's going to be bad, what's the point in watching it? I get it. It's to see it. It's the comedy stuff. It's the jokes and stuff like that. I think Lewis is still like, I still think Lewis is funny, but after a while, it's just like, one of the things I hate watching is reviews of boring things, because it's not bad enough to really make fun of. It's not legitimately good. So what's left? It's just kind of like it's like watching a boring movie. There's no amusement, and when they say there's nothing, this is such a boring thing. Once they say that in the beginning of the video, I'm completely disinterested, because I want to see something either just butt fucking crazy, or, and I know people hate that phrase, but still, or something that's legitimately good. And that's why I'm kind of getting sick of the angry critic. It was cool. It was neat for a while, then it just kind of got played out. Especially if you see all the guys who are jumping on the bandwagon. And that's part of the reason why I'm having issues with the Blockbuster Buster. He's lesser known on Channel Awesome, but I'm still a fan of his videos. It's just I prefer his honest reviews more, because that's what he calls them, his honest reviews, because he's talking about stuff he likes. I don't care about I don't want to watch shit like his Underdog review where he's just like, this is not like the source material, and that's basically every video. This is not like the source material. I'm angry because it's different.
I think if I ever tried criticizing anything, I'd probably just end up being probably passive aggressive. Yeah. I'd be like, I want to make fun of it, but I don't want to get yelled at. I hate it, but I just don't want to deal with the fanboys.
With Erod, obviously there are a lot of his complaints are usually solid complaints that are legit complaints. He's not like one of these guys who just only shits on because it's not like the comic book or it's not like the TV show. It's, you know, there's sometimes where he makes exceptions, but he is one of these guys who demands accuracy, demands a faithful adaptation. And the thing with adaptation is it's adaptation, meaning either you're adding things or you're subtracting things, because sometimes like you're remaking a classic movie. You want the ideas updated for a modern audience. So there's certain things you're going to take out. Now, personally, I say if it's a classic, don't fuck with it. Remake bad movies. How about that?
Honestly,
Make bad movies better.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing.
I am not a big fan of remakes. I feel like you might as well just try. You shouldn't even be treading that line. You might as well try to make something new. Try to make something original. And I understand that's a hard thing to do nowadays, considering basically almost everything's been done.
And that Hollywood's just looking to books.
They're just looking at whatever will bring a buck. But the remake does not have to be necessarily a bad thing. There's some remakes I think are actually better than the originals.
I'm trying to think if there's any remakes I've seen that's been better than the original.
Well, it depends if you've actually seen the original.
That does depend.
Now, a lot of people say The Fly. The Fly is better than the original. I don't think it is, but it is a really damn good movie. The remake of The Fly is a really damn good movie. The Thing, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want really memorable characters and stuff like that, if you want kind of slight humor in there and too, and just want to see like classic monster flick, you go to the original. But if you want better writing, you want gore effects and stuff like that. You want fucking what's his name? Not Jeff Bridges, but God, he's in Escape from New York. Damn it! I hate when this happens on the show.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be asking me this, because...
Well, it's more rhetorical. It's more me asking myself. Sorry, that sounds horrible, but that's kind of what it is sometimes. And just give me a second, I probably can remember his name. But go ahead and... what's your thought on like remakes in general?
My problem with remakes is, let's see, the one remake I have seen that kind of annoyed me was the Old Boy remake. There was the Korean, I think it was Korean version. Okay. I think that was the original. And then there was the American redone version. And I don't know why this happens, but for some reason America just has to re-pick up foreign movies.
Yeah,
and then turn it into its own thing.
Its own version or whatever. Kind of like, are you talking about like movies like Ringu in the Ring?
Yeah.
Or Ju-on in The Grudge?
Like stuff like that. I don't get, like, why do you need to...
Why remake it if you're... I don't know what your point is, but why remake... I just got a little thing. Why remake Ju-on if you're just going to do the exact same thing?
Because it's the American version.
Yeah, they just want to make it in English. It's not a bad movie, I'm just saying.
But I think that's really just my problem with remakes, like stuff like that, is when it's just the American remake of foreign movies that you just kind of have to ask why. I'm sorry, sir, but I don't really have a problem with remakes that often. I'm not a huge moviegoer.
I'm sorry. I'm having him talk because I'm looking it up. Kurt Russell.
Okay.
I was thinking of Kurt Russell in the remake of The Thing. My point with The Thing, though, is it just depends on what you're looking for. I love the remake of The Thing, but I have a soft spot for the original. I would say the remake is better, though. Now, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of remakes I've seen that are better than the original. There are ones I prefer over another, but more often than not, usually it's not as good. Doesn't make it a bad movie. The remake of King Kong, Not a bad movie, just not as good as the original. Is it because I saw the original on a young age and I have nostalgia for it? And in my opinion, it's one of the greatest films of all time. Yeah, I'm going to be a little biased. But the remake is not bad. Something being a remake does not make it bad. In some ways, look at the okay, my example is look at the remake of True Grit. You probably never seen the original or the new one, but you took a John Wayne classic, remade it with Jeff Bridges, and altered some things here and there. Besides a few scenes, it's basically the same movie, but it's done differently. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Same plot, same points, except for two. Similar scenes. It's not as bad as the remake of Psycho, where it's shot for shot the same movie. But this presents things in a different light, where the other one's kind of, I don't want to say it's generic. It's still a great movie. It's still a classic. But the original kind of comes off as your typical John Wayne, your John Wayne Western. And I respect John Wayne as being one of the greatest actors of all time. But to be honest, most people saw John Wayne movies to see John Wayne be John Wayne. They didn't really pay to see him be various characters and stuff like that. He wasn't a character actor. He was a persona. He was a name. He was good at what he did. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. The thing, though, is you get Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn. And here's the thing. One little thing they knew people were going to compare it to the original. And they try to make it seem like it's its own thing, like a different interpretation of the story, which that's exactly what it is. With little details like Rooster Cogburn's his eye patch being on the opposite side. Just little subtle things like that really set it apart from the original. And again, in tone it's different because spoilers. The ending of the original True Grit is, they get the bad guy. The girl gets revenge for her father. She gets bit by the rattlesnake, but she's okay. Rooster got her there in time. Didn't kill the horse. Oh wait, he might have. I can't remember. He's like spurring the horse on to get her to a doctor after she gets bit by a. I think her name was Bonnie. She gets bit by a rattlesnake. Rooster Cogburn. He was this kind of lost soul who just kind of didn't give a fuck. Like just no fucks were given. He was a drunk, and nobody wanted to associate with him. He was just kind of like a lost soul. Basically, nobody gave a damn about him, and he didn't give a damn about nobody else. But this was showing he was willing to carry her back to town to make sure she's okay, to save her life. And it's a great scene. But the ending is, John Wayne, he rides off into the sunset. The remake, the girl loses her arm, and getting revenge on her for her father, getting revenge on that guy who killed her father, did nothing for her. It was just hollow, and it left her to be an angry, bitter old woman. And the ending is so bleak. It's not exactly a sad ending, but it's very polarizing compared to the original. And I think I admire the remake for that, because it gave a more realistic ending to it. It wasn't what you typically see in westerns, and it's something that stood out, and it came off as original. Even being a remake, having the same name, you think remake, you think, oh, they're just cashing in on the popularity of the old movie. They don't give a shit about the source material, whatever. No, they cared, and they went out of their way to not copy it. There's points where they clearly do, because they have, with a remake, you have to balance it. You have to balance. You have to make sure you're still respecting the source material, still have a reason to be a remake, but be different enough to where people won't be constantly comparing it to the original. I mean, that might be a little hard for people to do, but that's how I view remakes, and I view that as the perfect remake. I'm not a crazy Western fan. There's Westerns I like, Tombstone, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but this is a testament to how good the movie is. People who don't like Westerns like it. That's how good that movie was.
Damn.
Now, there's some performances I thought were kind of lackluster, and I'm really not going to go into a full-on review of the movie, but really, if you want to see a good video that kind of points out all the differences and stuff like that, I still need to watch it. I still have not seen it, but I guarantee you it's probably going to be good. Would be Old vs. New True Grit, the Nostalgia Critics video on it. I'm pretty sure he'll point out a lot of things I've said, so because I don't see a whole lot different, but it'll be. I think it'd be well worth watching. But anyway, or that, or just watch True Grit. It's a great movie. Both versions are. Anyway, getting closer to the end of the video. The end of Hard News. Are you aware of Hard News?
No.
Okay. Have you ever gone to the website screwattack.com?
Mm-hmm.
They showcase guys like Breno Floss and the Angry Video Game Nerd and stuff like that. They've been around for basically the conception of YouTube. I don't know how long the site's been around, but Hard News was their video game news show that's been around since 2008. It ended a couple of weeks ago, and think about that. This show has been on since 2008. That's a long time for an internet show, for an internet news show.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping you were aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
It basically, if you watch any videos from Screw Attack, usually it's people from those other videos doing news, and basically to really leave on a good note or leave on a memorable note, they tore up the desk from the show with an axe. They even wrote down RPM 2008 to 2014.
Speaking of things ending, you heard about Stephen Colbert, right?
Yeah, that's the next topic.
Yeah, talk about that was just like out of the blue.
9 years. Over 9 years of that show. Now, how long were you watching the show? Because I got into it late.
Same here, actually.
Because
I think I addressed it when I got into it was during when he did. Okay, now I got in there sooner than that, but from the last episode I can remember watching from him was when the KKK. It was on Black History Month, the one where he was just like so. Yeah, and the most recent I've seen was when he did a little skit with Smog.
Yeah. I've been watching since 2010. The first episode I've been watching it off and on since its television debut, but I never really watched it consistently. I never watched it consistently. The first episode I watched was I don't know how many times they've done this, but it was one where it was one with Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart at the same time. That was the first episode I watched. Was one of those episodes.
Well, speaking of Jon Stewart, what is he gonna do? I mean,
continue his show.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he always was like the shadow of the Colbert Report.
Well, see, I always kind of looked at it the other way because I was more of a fan of The Daily Show than I was The Colbert Report. But I really like The Colbert Report. The Daily Show, I'm sure Stephen Colbert will pop up on that show here and there. It'll be funny whenever he does. I watched the last episode. Did you?
No, I told you I don't have.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It was on. Sorry, it was on YouTube. So that's why I asked. I figured you might have saw it on YouTube or something like that. I just watched it before you got here, before you got to my house. I was watching it, and yeah, it was still funny and all that. the ending was hilarious. He gets taken away. He gets taken away by Santa Claus and Abraham Lincoln, who happens to be a unicorn. He lifts up his hat. There's a horn under it. It's like, you are a unicorn. That's what Steven said. I thought the last shot was going to be like a parody of Batman, because he is standing on the roof with an American flag cape, the Captain America shield, and some sword. He's standing on the roof. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was going to be the last shot. That would have been great. But, they had, I guess, all his guests come out. Like, they had, like, Toby Keith and Willie Nelson was there. They had a shot of Bill Clinton. I'm not even kidding. All these people singing this song and all that. For some reason, Big Bird from Sesame Street was on there. I guessing Big Bird was on it at some point. I remember Cookie Monster. I remember that one.
Yes.
I would have died laughing if the fucking Christmas Krampus came out. You know, the fucking Christmas demon thing. That was one of my favorite episodes, was that Christmas episode. I would have laughed my ass off at that if he came out. Or if he was in the sled with Santa. That would have been hilarious. We even had George Lucas out there. And keep in mind, I said Bill Clinton was there. Not on set. They showed a clip of him. Okay. Just so many celebrities and all that just kind of flooded out. The first guy who came out was Jon Stewart. They took each other's hands and started singing and all that. It was funny, and it was a great way to send the show off. He, at the very end of the episode, he thanked the fans and Comedy Central and all that, and it was really an end of an era. 9 years of the Colbert Report, and I don't know. I thought it was a great show. I thought Stephen Colbert was one of the funniest guys on television.
I know every time I watched it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. You don't have to know square one about politics, and you can still enjoy it. And I've noticed this. It was just kind of cool to see somebody take a comedic route to a lot of shit that was happening in the world. It kind of mocked the figureheads in this country, mocked Fox News and all that. And I love this character so much because he was so dedicated to that character. And it's just amazing to think that show's been around for 9 years, and it's kind of sad that it's now over.
Well, yeah, things come to an end.
Yeah, and we still got the Daily Show. I know a lot of people don't care for the Daily Show. I love the Daily Show. I think Jon Stewart's hilarious, but yeah, that was pretty much it. I thought that was funny. You immediately knew where I was going before I even said it. Sure you didn't look at my phone?
I didn't look at your phone.
Okay, because I said it right there. Steve, final episode. Okay. Our last topic's going to be, anything we could come up about Christmas. I was going to think about Christmas memories and stuff like that. You said you really didn't have any worth talking about, or
I mean, you just had a typical family gathering. I mean, nothing really amazing.
No, I'm about the same way. I mean, nothing amazing. Honestly, getting people around for Christmas was kind of always been a hassle. We wound up celebrating 3 Christmases, on 3 different days. And I was a happy kid because my birthday was right after Christmas. The 27th. I wasn't sure if I should say what my birthday is on the show.
Careful, someone might take your identity. I don't know what they do with it, but someone might take your identity.
But yeah, 2 days after Christmas, I always thought that was the coolest thing when I was a kid. And a lot of people say, "Oh, that has to be hard because Christmas, you wouldn't get as much for Christmas." I never really needed a whole lot for Christmas when I was a kid. As long as I got the toy I wanted, I was happy. I mean, I'm trying to say I'm not that spoiled. I was kind of spoiled.
I'm never hard for Christmas. I was just clothes. I'm fine with clothes.
See, I never was when I was a kid. But usually I wasn't that hard to shop for because at least your parents kind of know what you're into, so they kind of go accordingly.
I feel kind of old since I'm getting books.
I still get games, so I man child I am. But I'm trying to think of some things like I got when I was a kid and all that, and just some cool memories I remember. You remember Power Wheels? Those those tiny electric cars for kids.
I don't think I have one.
You never had one, or okay, but you remember them, right? Like on TV. I didn't have a Power. I didn't have Power Wheels. I didn't have the brand. I just had I call them all Power Wheels, but basically little kid electric car. I think it's weird saying that because there are electric cars, but I don't know how to put it.
RC cars.
Oh, but they're not RC cars. They're not remote control, but you're like because you literally sit in them and drive them.
Oh,
you
okay.
know. Little kid, you can drive them and all that. You have to charge. Those things sucked when it came to charging because they would take like 24 hours and you only got like an hour out of it. But I remember getting a red pickup truck for one Christmas, and I remember having to driving it around at my great grandma's house.
Why is it when you drive a kid's car and you're young, it's fucking awesome, but when you get older and you drive a real car, it's fucking terrifying?
Yeah, because you're going like not even a mile an hour. But in a car you're going like 50. But yeah, it was so cool having that when I was a kid, and I was so mad when I couldn't get that thing to go. Like it started to run out of power, so I wound up pushing it. I remember my cousin trying to run me over with one of hers. You know, she had the little pink Barbie car. She had a Jeep too. I think that was what she was trying to run me over with, was the Jeep. But I just put my foot on it. It was a cool little neat thing I had when I was a kid. I also remember that year getting a toy of the Batmobile, and I thought that was the coolest toy ever when I was a kid. We're talking back in the days of Batman the Animated Series, so we're talking back in like 95, 96. And what was cool about it is it had a little bat plane inside it, and I thought that was just the shit. I can't remember everything. I can't remember most of the big toys. One of the things I remember being so excited for when I was a little kid was getting Megazords from the Power Rangers. The toys.
I know what you're talking about. They put them together.
Yeah, the Megazords.
I didn't get those, but I got Legos. Which was
Legos
100 times
are
better.
awesome.
That was 100 times better.
But it was so cool to get the Megazords and stuff like that, and just having that excitement when you get up and you're ready to open presents. But you're also impatient as shit because you have to wait for like other people to get up. You have to wait for I have to wait for my uncle to get crawl his way out of bed and
fuck that shit. I snuck in. I was just like, fuck you people, these are mine. I took them into my room.
I would separate my presents and sit around them, kind of like make my own little fort. But I remember seeing the big box. It says for Philip, and there's nothing. In my adult life, I've never experienced that excitement as seeing a big box with your name on it. You have no idea what it is, but you're just so excited because it's big. You shake it. It sounds heavy. And you're thinking, what could it be? What could it be? It has to be something awesome because it's heavy. And I think when I was a kid, that's about when they started using die casting toys. When they were starting to use metal or plastic.
It was a heavy form of plastic thing.
Well, I remember some of these Megazords having metal in them. It could have been die cast for all I know. I
don't think they had metal. That sounds
well, they had like metal parts to hold things together and stuff like that, like hinges and stuff. But these things would be loaded in die cast and all that, and they would be heavier than plastic. So I always took that as the hallmark of a Megazord. If it was heavy, you had the good sized box. If it was heavy, one of my things was that I kept with some of them. I was like, Why can't I hear anything? Not realizing it's stuck in styrofoam. Because it'll be like, oh, it's closed.
God, it'd be funny to actually have a big box and then just have a little tiny book for your kid and just be like, yeah, biggest disappointment.
I also got a bike for Christmas one year, and here's the thing: I knew it was the bike. You could tell it
You
was.
can't wrap a bike.
Well, they tried. They tried with I don't know what it was. It wasn't wrapping paper or anything like that. It was like a tarp, and it's like you could see through the tarp.
I would have just put a fucking bow on it.
Bow on it
Done.
and put in like we didn't have a garage, but we lived in a trailer. Put it in the backyard so I don't see it. Actually, that might have been my birthday.
I don't know, when you said bike, I was just thinking of My Name is Earl. When he fucked up the kids' bikes, and I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, that was so.
You know what I watched recently?
What?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. National Lampoon,
Don't.
Animal House, Family, National Lampoon Family Vacation.
Okay, I'm getting a blank.
It was a movie series. I think it started like in the early '80s, and it was '80s, early '90s. There were just these string of adult comedies, adult for the early '80s. The Christmas one was I think '86, 88, and it's really good. The National Lampoon is kind of like more of an adult version of Flintstones. So it's a line of movies. You have slapstick in them and all that, and everything's like kind of cartoonish. But it just perfectly matches that sense of chaos with a typical family Christmas. You're trying to make it the best Christmas ever, and everything just keeps falling apart. Everything just goes to shit. At one point, literally. But the Christmas tree gets lit on fire because of a half-conscious grandpa, because he's like smoking a big cigar in front of it. The dad gets locked in the attic. You have the annoying in-laws that kind of like criticize every little thing the dad does. The kids are being brats. You're having to deal with extended family. Everybody having to sleep together and all that. Like the kids have to sleep in one bed and stuff like that. All the crazy shit.
I'm glad I've never had a Christmas like that.
It's kind of all the crazy shit. Fuck, that's what I'm going to have to go through maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. Because I have my family coming in. Like where you're sitting, there'll be like 2 air mattresses, and there'll be an air mattress in the living room. So yeah, it pretty much captured the craziness and the chaos that is your typical family Christmas. I don't know how typical it is nowadays, but yeah, there's a few things. Even if you just remember a family get together and all that, and maybe an uncle's arguing with a cousin or something, and there's like something goes bad, somebody's yelling at somebody, something like that. Just your typical family get-togethers.
Oh God, 2 years ago was probably the worst Christmas.
Oh God, why?
My aunt. This was when my grandmother kind of passed away, so it was like really high tension.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
I can relate to that.
just shit hit the fan hard, really hard.
When my grandmother died, and then my great-grandmother died, she died around Thanksgiving. My grandmother died like in, I don't know, I wasn't even out of high school yet. I think I was like I think it was a junior when she died. That next year when my great-grandmother died, and basically she, they basically said she died of a broken heart because her daughter died. After that, there was not a whole lot to celebrate Christmas for. We just did it mostly just because, fuck it, it's Christmas, might as well try. And that was a hard Christmas to get through, just because that was the first time without Granny Bug. If you're wondering, Granny Bug is something that came from when I was little. I just started calling her that because of her glasses. You know, I saw her in the glasses and I just thought, you know, Bug. So I call, but anyway, that's why I call her Granny Bug. But it was a sad Christmas that year because it was the first time without them, and basically they're what held our family together. And after that, the family just kind of drifted apart, and you know, everybody kind of does their own thing.
Yeah, times are hard.
I'm sorry if I like cut you off with that, but that's just why it popped in my head immediately. So what else happened, or was that just that was?
That was just. I don't really want to go into it because it was
Okay, it was
shitstorm.
Okay, no reason to go into it. But anyway, some other Christmas memories. I watched a lot of Christmas specials when I was a kid. I know you said you really didn't. But is there any like a Christmas episode or anything you've seen?
Recently?
Or from anything?
Did Ed and Eddie have it? I know.
Yes, Ed and Eddie had a Christmas
had
one.
it.
I didn't see it, but I know they had one.
I don't think, did Courage have a Christmas?
Unless you count the snowman. Wait, how do you say it? Snowman.
Snowman.
It's basically Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Unless you want to count that. I don't think they had a straight up, and I apologize for the dog. Sorry that they're barking. But anyway, I remember the Hey Arnold one, which I tried to find on YouTube, and some guy just decided to show the intro, and that was it.
That's a dick move.
And it's 22 minutes, so I thought it was the whole episode. So it's just the intro, and then it just freezes, and that's the entire video. And it was a... Yeah, I know where I ended up. Anyway, the Hey Arnold one was a really good one. I'm going off memory, and this is over 10 years ago when I saw it last. But something about... You remember the Asian guy? The guy from Vietnam? He was a Vietnamese immigrant.
It's been a while since I watched Hey Arnold.
But do you know who I'm talking about? The Asian guy who, like, for a short time became a country singer or something like that?
I think so.
That was a great episode. It was a great episode because it was mostly focusing on him finding his long-lost daughter. And there was some stuff about Helga trying to get some shoes. And all the stories did connect to each other. I wish I could remember more from it, but I just remember it being like a really, really good episode. And now, on another note, going for the mentally crazy, Invader Zim Christmas episode.
They had a Christmas special?
They had a Christmas special. Basically, Zim heard of Santa, and he thought if he became Santa, that means he could take over the world. You know, control the children's minds and stuff like that.
Crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, and he like had this terrifying Santa costume. There was a robot Santa that looked terrifying, and
So like the Futurama?
very similar to the Futurama one. Except there was even a song that is... It's basically... You know how Christmas carols tend to sound like, you know, kind of like hypnotic songs that... Yeah, they basically took it literally. It was a great episode, and again, I wish I would remember more about it. I just remember it being a great one.
Yeah, I think the only Christmas special I can recall pretty clearly is the Futurama's one.
Yeah, because they had a good one. Even though it was like about fear and...
It's
fear
that brings us together.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... I love the evil Santa Claus character so much. It's just... I don't know, that was a funny one. The South Park Christmas one's hilarious.
I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Critter Christmas? All the critters?
They've had quite a bit.
Like
yeah.
Birdie the bird, Raccoony the raccoon, Beavery the beaver.
Yeah, they were pretty much all the same names.
Yeah, and the narrator, spoilers, the narrator turned out to be Cartman. I love that, just that concept.
Kyle got cancer.
And Kyle got cancer and died. The end. It's just a fucked up episode. It was awesome though. I love the whole idea of like Stan having to save Christmas either if he likes it or not. It's just because the narrator said so. It's like he starts to watch the Jeffersons, and you know he's trying to turn up the TV, the block out the narrator is just like, fine, God, throws the remote down. I love that episode. That's a great episode. But a few things. I grew up on a few more Christmas stuff. Like I grew up on the Rankin-Bosch films or specials, whatever you want to call them. You know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and
Did Dave Chappelle have a Christmas skit?
do what?
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle did a Christmas skit. I don't remember it though. I know it exists.
Okay.
I also grew up on watching, Christmas movies, like, the typical stuff. A Christmas Story, Home Alone, if you want to count it. I do count it. Hey, I like Home Alone. Home Alone 2. Home Alone 3. It's supposed to Home Alone 4 that's supposed to be coming out, even though they announced that 6 years ago, but still. Home Alone 1, I think, is a good movie. I personally like the movie. Then you have alternative Christmas movies, if you want to count them. Gremlins. It takes place on Christmas. There's Christmas shit all over that movie.
Then, is it technically a Christmas movie?
Not technically, no. But because it has no...
It's not the holiday spirit stuff, but it's...
It's on Christmas. Or Christmas Eve. Die Hard takes place on Christmas. Either Eve or Christmas night. Not really a Christmas movie, but it's there. You have the Let It Snow at the end of the movie.
I'm trying to think of any animes that had it. The only one I can think of is Pokemon.
No, there's plenty of anime that had Christmas episodes. Most of them were terrible. What is it? I can't remember what it was. Something Godfathers. It's really good though. It's not in English though. I can't remember what it was. Japanese Godfathers or something like that. Basically three people, one being transsexual, the other one being a little girl.
That Doug talked about, underrated Christmas special.
I think he did.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the three people, the runaway, the trans, and the homeless.
Yeah, they're trying to find a baby's parents. And have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't.
Dude, you need to see it. It's a really good movie. The only problem is there's no dub for it. So
No, that's fine.
it'd probably be easier for you to get into it than it was for me. I still think it was a good movie though, and that was made by the same guy who did Paranoia Agent. You probably could, if you saw any clip of it, you probably saw the similarities between the art styles. So you probably guessed it as soon as you saw the art style. Okay.
I was like, that's really familiar.
All right. Well, I suppose we can answer. We got 2 questions if you want to answer them.
Yeah, I think we probably should address the questions.
Okay. One thing I need to say though before we do, this is the last episode of the Hobby Shop for the year. We might do a bargain bin, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last episode for this year. So you won't get another Hobby Shop until the first Sunday of January. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, let me pull that up. Okay. Okay, here it is. Okay, first question, and they're both addressed to both of us. What is your favorite old school anime? Depends on what they mean by old school, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing the oldest I watched was probably just Trigun and Cowboy Bebop. Which, I mean, come on, we already said that enough.
Yeah. I'm going to assume they mean old school anime, not in terms of... I think they just mean old school in general. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but we have talked about our favorite animes before, and some of them are what you would probably consider old school. But I don't know. It depends on how far you want to go back, because old school anime to me is anything from 94 back. Or maybe not exactly 94, but I'm going to say maybe 80s back. There's a lot of guilty pleasure stuff I love from that era, but legit good. I don't know. I mean, maybe,
Pokemon.
but maybe Vampire Hunter D. That's from the 80s, I'm pretty sure. Oh, duh, I forgot. Probably the biggest one. Mobile Suit Gundam. The original. Yeah, I would throw that as being probably the best old school anime. You have, I don't know, whatever the Japanese version of Voltron was. Keep in mind, Voltron was an anime, dubbed in English, so whatever it was called in Japan. But, here in America, we know it as Voltron. I don't know, Speed Racer was terrible, but it's memorable. Everybody remembers it.
Why though?
Yeah, why is it memorable? But another one would probably be Gigantor, which I don't think it's called that in Japan, but Gigantor is another old school anime that a lot of people.
My God, you're like naming all the old shit that I slightly somehow know of, but I've
Astro
never
Boy.
seen an episode.
Astro Boy, Manga Z, Mangas or Z. I don't know. And again, it depends on what he meant by old school. I don't know if he meant like a favorite anime we grew up with, or does he mean old school as in actual old school? For me, it'd probably be Mobile Suit Gundam for just straight up old school anime. You just really got to get over the art style and the animation, because it's very, very dated. But again, try next time you ask us a question and try to be more specific about it, because we're not going to be able to tell what you mean if we just go by that. Okay. All right. Next question. What video game would you like to be seen turned into a movie? And we kind of talked about this before, but we might as well say it again. I say Metal Gear Solid. I would love to see it as a movie. You got anything?
I think.
Well, never mind the fact that the industry is more movie-like than ever, but it...
Actually, no, I got one. Actually,
Okay.
I would not mind see a Shadow of Colossus movie.
That would be interesting. It's CG the fuck, but...
It would be CG the fuck oh hell, but
yeah, that would be cool. There's not much of a story to that game, is there?
no, it's the epic scale of a time.
Yeah. I can see you get Peter Jackson on that shit. Yeah, I can see that. That'd be cool. Mass Effect, I guess, could...
I think it already counts. That's why I don't want to say The Walking Dead or that, because technically they're movie games.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody did throw out Mass Effect, and I think that'd be kind of cool. Halo, not into Halo, but maybe that could be.
You've seen that, right?
The animated version?
Not the animated version, but before, when they were showing clips of YouTube, they were trying to make a movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But apparently the director wanted to fuck something up, and they were just threw the whole thing out. They're just like, Halo movie, gone, because this director's stupid, and we apparently can't seem to find a better one.
I'm not into Halo, so I can care less of it being turned into a movie. Right now, if anything, here's a game I want to see turned into a movie. Fuck it. Trilogy. Ocarina of Time. I would love to see that turned into a movie.
I would think you would get something kind of like The Lord of the Rings, honestly. That's honestly
Get Peter Jackson on that shit too. Yeah, you'll probably get something out of that. But Ocarina of Time, and I don't know, maybe you can do 2 movies, but I think it'd be cool to see 3 movies out of it. And now that I said it, 2 movies might work better because kid Link, adult Link.
Yeah, about the first.
Maybe third movie can be Majora's Mask. That would be neat to see a Majora's Mask movie.
But then it would just be really just Link making grunting sounds. And
Well, they would actually have to.
that would be
have
kind of
dialogue.
funny. No, it would be funny if they just kind of played off with something like that, to where you can't really talk.
Yeah, make a universe reason for it. But I don't know. The odds are he will talk for the first, like actually talk for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has Link ever talked? I mean, obviously not in the older games.
The show.
Well, yeah, but that's just I'm not doing it. But that no. But I think if you're going to do any video game movie, I think Ocarina of Time probably make for a because think about it, that was a pretty epic game when it came out.
Like Nintendo got solid stuff if they ever figured out how to do
Bayonetta.
it.
Make a Bayonetta movie. Make it rated X. You know they would. You know the people who made Bayonetta would love to do that.
It would be a gun katana with boobs.
You know what you can do here for a Bayonetta movie? Get Robert Rodriguez as the director. Stick Danny Trejo somewhere in that movie. I would love to see that. The Kill Bill version of Bayonetta. Okay, I know Kill Bill was directed by Tarantino, but still. That's what I think of. But yeah, get Robert Rodriguez. We'll have it out in a month. I would love that. Now I want that. Now I really want that. Let's see some other ones. I don't know. Is it Sonic getting a movie? No, Ratchet and Clank is.
I've heard that for a while though, but I didn't know if it was true. I always keep hearing about games and movies, but it never.
Wait, Sonic is no. It wasn't a movie. He gets a new show. Sonic Boom.
It's on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, like really early in the morning. Too early in the goddamn morning. 7 o'clock.
It's on that dead schedule of. I'm gonna get cut.
Yeah, it's been aired where they would air like reruns of Beyblade and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, it's on those cut times.
That's where you would see like legends, like the Legend of Ninjago and shit. Which can you believe that's a show? Lego Ninjas.
It's kind of funny, you know, when people saw the show, but then when they made a movie, people were like, "Oh my god, we're making a movie of Lego!" It's like we had a show that wasn't so hot.
It sucked.
So we're gonna get hyper for the movie when the show.
I haven't seen it, so I'll have to reserve judgment on that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, what?
Yeah, I get
so
it.
Weird.
Well, why is there an audience there all of a sudden, and why wasn't there one period before? Some other video game movies. Some video games get movies out of this straight to video market. Like Dante's Inferno had one. Dead Space had 2, I believe.
The animated.
Yeah, they went all animatrix on it, where they went all animatrix on it, which and the animatrix it's okay. I like seeing all the different art styles, but you had like I think at one point, yeah, and almost all of these you get that guy from what was it, Risen or whatever it's called. Not Risen, Reign the Conqueror. You get the guy from Reign the Conqueror, or I don't know, Avon Flux. You know, has a very high detailed style, which has always looked disgusting to me. the way he draws bodies and stuff like that, it just looks so unnatural. They always get him for those. They always get those guys for these things. But it was like a mishmash of anime styles being thrown together. You know, a few Western styles, but primarily it's anime. Like watch Gotham Knight, Batman Gotham Knight. They basically did the same thing. You know, it was the animatrix of Batman. But I don't know. There's not a whole lot of movies, not a whole lot of games I want to see turned into movies. We came up with a few, which I
like stuff from Nintendo, but I'm just like I just want to see Nintendo make stories.
Yeah.
But although we saw that happen with Metroid and
people
that was
shit on
incompetent.
it.
That was really incompetent. It was just like, but.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a market for it. I mean, look how well Wreck-It Ralph did. There's a market for it.
I was kind of disappointed in Wreck-It Ralph because I thought it was going to be the Roger Rabbit, a video game.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. I've never seen the movie, so
It's still a solid movie. It just kind of does its own thing after.
yeah, you're thinking, oh, we're gonna no Mario in that game.
Yeah.
The game, movie, no Mario in that movie.
Well, I mean, the other character represents kind of like Jumpman.
Jumpman,
So
yeah,
you
but
kind of already.
is this? I don't know. Did they just not have the license to use Nintendo characters? Because if you remember,
I thought I saw.
okay, from everything I've seen, all the clips I've seen, seems to be no Nintendo characters.
I know there was Sonic on the
You
billboard.
get Capcom, you get Sega.
It seems like a lot of the Nintendo were more reference because what's his name? The main character is Jumpman, and then the
Really? He's
side,
main character?
well, not really like main character, but main side.
You're talking about the main character of the fictional game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as far as the other one, the sergeant, the chick,
And that's
she-
like Mass Effect. And,
she was more like Metroid. That's the vibe I got from her.
Oh, I from the clips I saw, I was thinking Mass Effect, Call of Duty, and stuff like that. Especially the game she came from, which I think was
It
some.
was the alien. It was an alien shooter. That's why I was like, it kind of gives me.
But it. Well, okay, yeah, I can see that then. But really, it was the shot at the whole first-person shooter market.
Oh no, they had Bowser.
Oh yeah, they did
I
have
think that's
Bowser.
the only Nintendo character I saw.
Yeah, but most of it was Capcom. Was Mega Man in there? But it seemed to be mostly Capcom, Namco, and Sega.
Yeah, there's really a bunch, and I was really hoping just seeing a whole fuck ton.
Like Roger Rabbit, you expect to have like that oh shit moment, like if like Mario and Sonic with it, which still
Well,
gets people.
Well, I mean, I would like to see who would be the Disney of gaming, and then who would be
It would
the
be Nintendo.
Yeah.
Would be Disney. And I guess Warner Brothers would be probably. I'm going to say Capcom, maybe. Well, not really. They're not competitive, but. I don't know.
That's what I would like to see, where you're just like, oh wow, Nintendo character with another character, whoa!
Like you want to see people still make a big deal out of seeing Sonic and Mario on the same screen or on the cover of a game or something like that, because there's a lot of those older gamers who still remember the whole feud, the whole Nintendo Sonic, the whole Nintendo Sega feud.
I'm just like, that's dead.
It's a dead horse. I mean, considering who owns Sega, Nintendo. Hey, they do have something in common with Disney. They're buying up everything. Don't they own the right? Do they own the rights to Namco? To Namco? No, they don't, because Namco,
They're still their own.
Pac-Man pops up on the Xbox and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're still living. I don't know how well, but they're still there.
Yeah, they're still there. I mean, I just figured somebody bought Namco by now, considering everybody seems to be buying up everything. Everybody buying up everything. Okay, anyway. Well, that was pretty much it. We only had we had 3 questions, but we answered the first question earlier in the show, the sub or dub thing. Well, this is the last Hobby Shop for this year, and well, this has been the Hobby Shop. See you in 2004.
15.
15. God damn it. We'll see you in 2015, fuckers.